Health and Fitness with David Hollywood.
With DS Sports. Is your sports club ready for a Christmas kit upgrade? Contact DS Sports. dssports.ie.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. Coming up very shortly, we'll usher in the Christmas spirit by celebrating the work done by mental health service users in a crafts Christmas fair in Laois. You'll meet the founder of Festival Mana, a women-only health, fitness and wellness festival taking place in Westmeath. We talk about the partnership between the Sexual Health Centre and Parkrun to help eliminate stigma around HIV. And we hear from the Asthma Society of Ireland about what needs to be done to fight one of the most prevalent chronic illnesses in Ireland. Well, if you haven't noticed already, you'll be noticing very soon. Christmas lights are going up in every town across the Midlands. We're into the season of giving. It is a special time of year. I'm very glad to say joining us to look forward to Christmas, I suppose, in a way. And one of the special events taking place in Portlaoise are both David Koss, who's a senior social worker with the HSE Rehabilitation and Recovery Mental Health Services in Laois and Offaly. And also with me this evening is Bridget Noonan, a clinical nurse specialist with the same HSE Rehab and Recovery Group. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on Health and Fitness.
Thanks very much, David.
Delighted to be here.
So, we have a Christmas market coming up in Portlaoise on the 12th and the 13th of December, Bridget. It's all in a good cause, and it sounds like there's a lot going on. So you might tell us what people could look forward to if they were to head down to, where is this now, Macronaferma Hall?
Macronaferma, yeah. We're excited to announce that this year we've brought our Christmas market out into the community. It's something that's been held for many years in the campus in St. Vincent's Hospital.
Okay.
So this year a lot of work and a lot of prep has gone into ensuring that we get out there where we spend a lot of our time working, and the majority of our time working, as a matter of fact. So thanks to Macronaferma, they very kindly have given us the use of the hall in Portlaoise town. It's very central.
Great.
On the Timahoe Road. So they've very kindly, like I said, handed that over to us for 2 days, where we can bring our wares and our goods out, hopefully get them sold, and all proceeds will be going back into our services again for next year.
Very good. David, tell us, the wares, as Bridget referred to there, what kind of things would punters be able to look forward to if they were down at the Christmas market typically?
Yeah, so David, there's going to be a selection of items for sale on the day. These are all crafted products by the Rehabilitation Recovery Service users. There is, I suppose, jams and chutneys, there's baked goods, there's handmade crafts such as reindeer, table settings, planter boxes, wheelbarrows.
Wow.
A variety of goods. We'll also have cards on the day, reindeer food, which is something that some of the service users were working on last week. We'll have I suppose a whole array of baked goods, cakes, puddings, scones on the day. Yeah. There'll be hot chocolate.
Yeah, we're going to have a stall as well, David, that's going to have locally made Christmas wreaths. Lovely. Again, that's going to be facilitated by a horticulturist who comes in to work with our service users, but predominantly is going to be made by the service users and will be for sale on the day. So everybody loves a good handmade, locally sourced wreath, I think.
Absolutely. And Bridget, I imagine the atmosphere at these markets is usually great, but it will have that extra special feeling now that it's sort of off-site and in a central location in Portlaoise. I imagine it's as busy as you'll ever expected it to have been.
We expect so. We expect big crowds. It's always very well attended in the hospital, but again, I suppose in line with how we work and the way we work, it's all about recovery for us. It's all about integration in the local community. We've had fantastic support over the years from the community. Our clients live in the community. We live as part of the community. So we're delighted to be able to bring that out and to raise it up a notch or two, I think. In addition to all the crafts items that are going to be on sale as well, we're going to have a performance from our choir, which is a client-led choir called the Community of Sound. They're going to be performing as well on the Friday.
Wow.
So it's an opportunity for people, again, I suppose, to see their hard work come to fruition. And again, to bite that bullet and face their performance anxiety and to get out there and express their talent on the day as well. So that's another component of our market this year as well.
David, there must be nothing better than in your line of work, observing people and the service users put themselves into the work and then be able to bring it to the platform of the Christmas market and ultimately see it celebrated.
That's it, David. I suppose a lot of the service users would have worked on the crafted items from earlier on in the year, and it's their opportunity to show their talent. And there is fantastic talent amongst our service users. I suppose just some of the particular wooden crafts that will be available on the day. The attention to detail with those crafts are fantastic, as well as everything else that has been made on the day. But it's a real celebration of the work that's taken place throughout the year, and I hope the community, as Bridget said, it's about community integration, bringing it out into the community, and I really hope that there's a good turnout on the day and that the community get behind it and support the service users and see the value in their work, because it's great work.
And Bridget, it's, as David outlined there, an opportunity for the community in Laois and more broadly speaking the Midlands to support mental health services in the region. So talk to us about the kind of work that the Rehabilitation and Recovery Unit with the HSE in Laois and Offaly does do, and I suppose the kind of benefits that you'll be able to bring forward when people head down to the Christmas market and are able to express their support.
Yeah, I suppose, again, our service, as we said at the beginning, is a 2-county service. Yeah. So it covers Laois, Offaly. So I'd just like to say again, there'll be participants and crafts from both Birr and Tullamore, which are 2 main headquarters in this side of the Midlands, along with all the areas in Laois as well. And I suppose in terms of how we work, we're a tertiary service, David, and we work with people from the ages of 18 to 65 who have encountered longer and more enduring mental health difficulties that they haven't been able to maybe deal with or overcome in short periods of time. So that's generally the cohort of people we work with, both male and female. And I suppose we take them on a journey. A formal assessment takes place, but from there on in we work very humanistically, and we take them on a journey that's very person-centred, very individual-centred, and it's about them reaching their optimal level of recovery at some point down the line on their journey. And that, I suppose, to emphasise again the importance of community integration. This is not about, we work on a strengths-based approach. So we start with the person in terms of what they've got in the first place, their skills of resilience, their strengths to date. We may be encountering them at periods where they're out of employment, out of housing, out of relationships. But together we work towards reintegrating them back into employment, back into meaningful relationships in their lives and in their community, and also getting them involved in vocational, recreational activities in their communities as well. So I think what they do, what this part of the process is just, I suppose it's in honour of what they do day in, day out, in terms of accentuating their skills and reintegrating and becoming the independent people that we'd hope they can be.
Yeah, I think it sounds like the perfect event to celebrate that strength-based focus. David, from the perspective of, say, yourself and Bridget, you as a social worker with this HSE unit, to help someone identify their strengths, regardless or based on the kind of background they've come from, their own personal story, that sounds like such a fundamental perspective shift and sounds kind of crucial in someone's rehabilitation and recovery.
It is, David. I suppose it's central to how we work, and I suppose when we are meeting with a person, we're meeting that person where they're at in life, where they're at with their mental health, but we like to strip it all back. So we focus on the person's goals and what goals they would like to achieve in life. And as Bridget has said, whether that's vocational goals, educational goals, mental health recovery is always part of the goal. Like, as a mental health service, we encourage and promote that. But I suppose the most important thing is to focus on those goals, to shine light and allow people the opportunity to achieve those goals in a meaningful way that's important to them.
Okay. I know neither of you are here to talk about yourselves in a personal capacity or anything like that, but I am curious to get a sense of perspective from both of you. I'll start with you, David, on the meaning you derive from your work, because I imagine when you help someone put their own building blocks back into place, and you maybe at some point their interaction with the service ends and you see that they've got foundations there, that must mean a lot.
It does. I suppose it's the best feel. I love my job. I'm really lucky to be able to say that I'm in a job that I absolutely love. It's great to see the progression in terms of recovery for service users. And it is great to see ultimately them achieving their goals and progressing in areas of their life that's important to them. I would also say that as a service, we're really focused on what's important to service users and helping them achieve that. The Christmas market is, I suppose, a prime example of that, David, in that they have worked very hard within the year. They've crafted certain products that they're very proud of, and they should get the opportunity to show that off to their local community.
Yeah, here on that front. Bridget, from your perspective as well as a clinical nurse specialist with the unit, it sounds like yourself and your colleagues, you've got the same common motivation. That must create a nice working culture.
Absolutely, and I suppose, Dave, it's just like any other branch of medicine, really. It is another part of our minds and bodies, and I suppose it's great at last there's a bit of traction around mental health. And
you feel that's the case? I
do, and I think particularly community based, and I suppose I'm old enough to see, unfortunately, I suppose I'm old enough, but I'm glad to see that there's been such a transition and a move away from hospital-based practices around mental health. It's much more complex than that, and the National Recovery Framework drives that policy.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is a culmination of the nice end of it. But I suppose, it's just so rewarding to see people recovering and doing well in their own home environments, in their own communities, with very limited time in hospital. If it's needed, it's great. If it's not, we're there to provide that service in the community.
Yeah, the country's a lot more about the person as opposed to the institution.
Absolutely.
I think these days that's been the direction of travel, which is a positive one. The Rehabilitation and Recovery Mental Health Christmas market takes place on the 12th and 13th of December. There's tons on. There's going to be absolutely brilliant stuff displayed by the service users who've put their heart and soul into these things, including the music and the choir that you'll be hearing on the Friday afternoon onwards. It's at the Machran of Ferma Hall on the New Road in Portlaoise. I'll give you the air code if you wanted to punch it into your phone. OR32EY24. That's OR32EY24. Entry is free, and all that's left for me to do is to thank David Coss and Bridget Noonan from the HSE for coming into us on the programme this evening. Guys, you've been great with your time. It's been lovely chatting to you. The best of luck with the Christmas market. Congratulations to everyone who's involved in it, and the very best of luck with everything going forward.
Thanks very much,
David.
Thanks
for the opportunity,
really
David.
Thanks again to David and Bridget for coming into studio this week. Next up, we're looking to the Festival Mná in Moate.
Health and fitness.
With DS Sports. Is your sports club ready for a Christmas kit upgrade? Contact DS Sports at 085 871 5311 or info@dsports.ie. DS Sports, the teamwear specialists. Your success, our priority. Let's grow together.
Next on Health and Fitness, we're turning our attention to the future, not too far down the line, but something that's coming up maybe to mark in the calendar. Festival Mná is taking place in Westmeath. It returns to the Dúnasaigh Park near Moate. It's on the 4th of January. It celebrates Nonnig Naman. I'm very glad to say that the Festival Mná founder and organiser Lorraine Hogan joins us on Health and Fitness this evening to look forward to the event. Lorraine, first of all, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm really delighted to be here. Thank you.
Tell us about what's coming up in January in the Dúnasaigh Park Festival Mná.
So Festival Manor returns again this year. This is our third year to come back to Doonassee, and we are so excited. We're coming back even bigger and better this year. For any ladies that have been before, definitely come back this year. It's just going to be the highlight of your year. That's what we like to call it, the highlight of your year, beginning your January, I suppose, on a really clean slate, celebrating Nullig Naman. So it just gives, I suppose, those ladies an opportunity to come together, to get that nice mindset as well for January, and partake, I suppose, in things that they mightn't have done before, like sound baths or yoga classes, breath work. It's all well-being and wellness inspired. We have a whole new wellness area this year. So you can go for a sauna, have a massage, you can have a Reiki healing. There's so much for you to do on the day. It's just really, really exciting, and we are delighted to be back, I suppose, even bigger and better this year.
You've pointed to the calendar as being a kind of an interesting aspect of this festival in the sense that January is obviously the time that gym memberships explode and people are on get fit drives, as it were. But this, I suppose, is probably good in the sense that while people are in that mindset, which is natural, normal and fair enough, practicing a lot of what's going on at the Festival Manor will maybe help dial into the mindfulness that we really need to have, the perspective to know how to take on the next few months in what is often a tricky time of year.
100%. Like, I think not only is it Nullig Naman that we're celebrating the coming together of women, but it's also just that beautiful opportunity, because we all know Christmas has begun now, you know, and we're all in that, you know, silly season, as we call it. We're doing everything for everybody, especially as women, and this is why Nullig Naman was created in the first place. It was to give the women, the ladies, a day off, because they've been doing so much getting Christmas ready, I suppose, for everybody. And we are nurturers, and we're constantly making sure that Christmas is perfect for everybody else. But it's like, when are we going to fill our own cup? And I'm all about, you know, I am a coach as well. I'm an empowering coach, and I'm all about filling our own cup and making sure that we are happy and making sure that we are overflowing, especially going into a new year, that we can then make sure that everybody around us, all our loved ones, are taken care of as well. So it's all about filling your own cup and maybe trying something that you've never done before, like a cacao ceremony, which is really, really beautiful. It's just a nice time to be able to come back into your centre, into your heart space, and just feel that gratitude and love for yourself, and then, as I said, ripple effect throughout your life. But also, we have a lot of empowering talks. I do a lot of work with menopause women. I have my own, like, my Zenopause journey, it's called, and it's just really allowing women that time, that space to come together, to talk, to normalise what we go through in menopause. It's inevitable. We're all going to go through it, and I suppose preparation and talking and, you know, the elephant in the room kind of conversations that, you know, we can relate to each other on all different kinds of levels, through menopause, through hormonal health, through lifestyle, mindset, exercise. We have a High Rock station this year, which is, you know, the High Rock seems to be the hype of the exercise at the moment. I love it myself. I'm also a PT. So to do a High Rocks class for 15-20 minutes, a taster class, it might be something that might then, you know, say, oh God, I'm actually going to try this. Look out my local area, where can I find one? You know, stuff like that. So I think not only do we want to celebrate women and how awesome we are. Do you like that one, David? I
love it. I know, 100%. I think this is fantastic.
But we also want people to be able to bring something away with them. We also offer it's like a booklet of loads of special offers. So anybody that you get to experience on the day, they offer then like discount codes and stuff going into the whole year. So, which is brilliant as well. So we don't want it just to be a day thing. We want this to carry the energy throughout the year, because, as I said, if we're not filling our own cup first, well then, you know, something's going to give.
Okay, let's talk about the Manawsome aspect that you've just referred to there. I was wondering, when you were talking about what it's like when you observe women who came to, say, last year's event that maybe hadn't been to anything like this before, and what their initial feelings are heading to this festival, and then what it's like for them afterwards. Like, talk to us about what. Okay, because I imagine it's a rare space to be able to spend so much time on your fitness, your wellness, and your mindfulness in the company of only women.
Yeah, it is. It's very rare. It's actually the only one in Ireland. So it's so unique in that sense that when women come together, just something really, really special happens. And I've been hosting women's circles for a long time now, 4 years, and just the power of being able to relate to each other and to say, oh my God, I feel that as well, and that's okay. And there's just a level of, understanding and compassion and just awareness, I suppose, that we see in each other, that we're not in this alone. Everybody struggles from time to time. Everybody, sometimes, doesn't feel 100%. And it's just normalizing what it is like for a woman to go through life and, to feel whatever feelings we have at different times of our month, at different times of the day, as parents, as siblings, as sisters, different stages of our life as well. And just to really normalize being a woman and come together. A huge thing we look for actually is 3 generations of women to come together. So my mother comes with me and my daughter comes with me. So
wow.
For the 3 of us at each level of our life, at each stage of our life, to be able to come together, and for my daughter to see me sitting around and speaking to other women about hormones, or, and at an age appropriate level, obviously. But, it's really great for me to teach her how to do this, so that when she's struggling in her life, that she can just reach out to, her friends or her sister or me, to be able to just be supported and feel that support of another woman.
Well, from what I understand, having not lived through it, women have gone through the experience in this country and beyond of having their identity suppressed, and understanding your identity is intrinsic to having self-esteem, and self-esteem is the stuff that drives you through the year. So to go through an experience where your peers, those that you would have looked up to generationally when you were younger, and those who hold you up as a role model, if you can all come together and accept, establish and enhance your sense of self-identity, then it just must be such a strengthening experience.
It really, really is. And I think you put it really beautifully there. It is like throughout the years, as we said, the women in Ireland have had a lot to deal with, really. And I think I really feel this year alone, and even going into next year, I really feel that women are coming together stronger, with everything that's happening in the media at this point. And even with Katie Taylor being like a world champion at boxing and stuff like that, for me, that's so inspiring that women can actually, be uniquely in their own, but feel that support from other women, no matter what we've been through, So it's the non-judgmental coming together and supporting each other regardless of what our life experiences are, at what stage we are within our life journey, and it's a very, very powerful, unique, special place. And I think that's why we were in England this year, and the whole history even between Ireland and England, and for us to go over to London and be overwhelmed by the response we had for the women in England, English women, Irish women, so many different women. It was like, it was unbelievable, and it was so honourable and overwhelming to see how it was like a reeling in the years, how they were trying to come back to their connection to Ireland, or their Celtic roots. It was really unbelievable. So for me to take my festival outside of Ireland, because we get to experience this all the time in Ireland, we get to experience our culture and our Celtic traditions, but when we step outside of it and see how many people are just so curious and inspired at what we have is incredible. It really is. So it was a huge highlight for me now this year to do that and experience that in a different country.
The huge highlight at the start of this year is the 4th of January. It is the Festival Mná in the Doonashee Park in Westmeath. Lorraine, tell us, if anybody listening wants to pick up a ticket for the event in the new year, what do they do?
Well, lucky enough, your listeners can avail of this incredible special offer. We have a Thanksgiving Black Friday deal going live today. So it's a 2-for-1 ticket. So you just hop onto our website. It's www.festivalmanaw.com, or you can check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Festival Manaw. And yeah, you can grab yourself a bargain today. So perfect gift to give to a friend, a mother, a sister, and as I probably didn't mention, but children and teenagers go free, because we really want that true generation of women together. So, I mean, you can grab yourself a bargain, bring the girls along with you, the kids along with you, and yeah, it'll be an incredible day out for all.
Best of luck with it, Lorraine.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
U equals U. That means undetectable equals untransmittable. We're fighting HIV stigma next.
Health and fitness.
With DS Sports. Is your sports club ready for a Christmas kit upgrade? Contact DS Sports at 085 871 5311 or info@dsports.ie. DS Sports, the teamwear specialists. Your success, our priority. Let's grow together.
The Sexual Health Centre is partnering up with Parkrun events all across the country to announce the 2024 Red Run taking place this weekend. It's an event dedicated to raising awareness about HIV and promoting the U equals U message. This is undetectable equals untransmittable. To look forward to the weekend's events and to talk about the message ultimately that is being put out there by the Sexual Health Centre, it is their Senior Health Promotion Officer, Phil Corcoran, joins us on Health and Fitness this evening. Phil, thanks very much for taking our call.
Hello, no bother.
Tell us now, U equals U and this Parkrun event, a really nice idea. I imagine you're looking forward to seeing how well it takes across the country this weekend.
Yeah, so I suppose it's an event that we've had running for about 7 years now. And as you mentioned, we partner with Parkrun. But we also allow registration through our own website, so we can send dry fit tops with the U equals U message to anybody who is participating in a running club or, maybe who runs with friends or whatever, so that they can take part and maybe share selfies or images with the U equals U message. And I suppose U equals U is very, very important in tackling the stigma around HIV. And essentially what it means is that people living with HIV who have an undetectable viral load, and the viral load refers to the amount of the virus that's present in the blood, so people who are taking their medication, their treatment as prescribed, and have and maintain an undetectable viral load, they pose no risk to their sexual partners. So once somebody is undetectable, they can't transmit the virus to their sexual partners. And that's a very important message in tackling the stigma. So when people are running, wearing these T-shirts in groups, they're promoting this message. We're hoping that it will, start conversations with people and spread the U equals U message far and wide.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And just anecdotally from my own experience, the Sanctuary runners did up some great T-shirts over the last few years, and they serve as conversation starters when you do end up at park runs and in running groups. And it's a really nice place and a nice atmosphere, Phil, to, as you say, this campaign is built around getting rid of the stigma around HIV, and the park run atmosphere is probably a unique one in how well it lends itself to being accepting and giving people space to be who they are and who they would like for people to understand who they are.
Absolutely. And I mean, with Parkrun, it's open to everybody. So it's open to, people who just want to get out and get some fresh air on a Saturday morning, go for a walk, or for people who are serious runners. It's open to all levels, wherever somebody is at. And I suppose it's been a great partnership for us year on year, and it grows year on year. So it's great to see more and more people coming on board and wearing the T-shirts in their activities with their clubs or with their friends, or at park runs. and spreading the U equals U message. I suppose I'd like to say as well, just on that, Cork, Limerick, Dublin and Galway have signed up to the Fast Track Cities initiative, which is a worldwide initiative. And the aims of that are for 95% of people living with HIV to know their status, for 95% of those people who know their status to be on antiretroviral therapies, and 95% of people on those will achieve a suppressed viral load. And then a fourth aim is to achieve zero HIV-related stigma. And I suppose events like this one, aim to tackle that stigma. And we've done a number of things over the years that were quite visible. Like alongside the Park Run, we had a mural in the city for a period around World AIDS Day a number of years back. So, and with everybody that comes for a rapid test in our centre, they get the messaging around U equals U at every appointment.
Talking about trying to get to a 0% level of HIV stigma over the years, I suppose we have this presumption in our lives that generationally things like HIV stigma are always becoming less and less. In your position and your experience and through working in the Sexual Health Centre, where are we with the idea of stigma around HIV, and how much more work do you feel needs to be done to approach that 0% stigma?
Yeah, from my perspective, it is something that stubbornly persists. And, stigma can be very damaging because it can, stop people from coming forward for testing if they have a concern that they may have acquired HIV, or it might stop somebody engaging with the services and the treatments that they need. So it does have very real impacts on people's lives. And I suppose we're all sexual beings, and HIV is a virus. There should be no shame attached to living with the virus. And the important thing to remember with HIV now is it's very much a manageable illness. So if somebody is worried or has a concern in relation to HIV, then it's very important that they come forward for testing, because we all have a HIV status, whether it's positive or negative. And if somebody is living with HIV, it's really, really important that they are linked in with services, that they are linked in with treatment. As I mentioned, once somebody is undetectable now, they can't transmit the virus further. So, there are lots of benefits for the person themselves in knowing their status, and also for the wider community.
Well, we wish you the best for the campaign this weekend. Can I talk to you more broadly about the Sexual Health Centre? Give us an idea of the work that you guys do there.
Yeah, so I suppose our work is very broad. We were established in 1987 as Cork AIDS Alliance, and at that time, we were a service that was set up especially to support people living with HIV and their friends and family members. I suppose, back in 1987, we were living in less enlightened times, and also treatments for HIV aren't where they are now. So the main focus of our service would have been around people directly affected or friends and family of people affected by HIV. Over the years, I suppose our services have expanded quite a bit to take in other areas of sexual health. So we have a number of counselling services. So we still have counselling for people living with HIV, which is a free service. Most of our services are free. We have free counselling for people who are experiencing a crisis or unplanned pregnancy. And we also have free counselling for people post-termination, if that is something they feel they need. We provide free pregnancy testing. We provide free rapid HIV testing as an in-house and outreach activity. Our rapid HIV testing takes place on our Dash mobile unit and also takes place in bars and clubs throughout the city. We also have a sex and love therapy program, which offers support to people who are experiencing compulsive sexual behaviours or maybe struggling with compulsive pornography use. That program is there to help people in those circumstances. And then we have a youth education person who works in non-formal educational settings. And we have an adult outreach person who works with people engaged in sex work, people in addiction, people experiencing homelessness, and other adult groups.
Yeah, it occurs to me a couple of things that you, based on what you said there, is that a lot of the time our mental health informs our sexual health to some shape or degree, and it sounds like the centre itself is very good at operating as an outreach service for underrepresented groups in our society.
Yes, and I suppose that's something that we've been doing for a very, very long time. We want to meet people, we want to make it as easy for people as possible to access services. So we get out there and meet people in the way that's easiest for them.
Yeah, well, the campaign taking place over the course of this weekend is the message is you equals you, undetectable equals untransmittable, looking to raise awareness about HIV. The Sexual Health Centre is partnering with Park Run, and if anyone wants to maybe get hold of the Dry Fit t-shirts, they can contact the Sexual Health Centre. Go on to sexualhealthcentre.com. Phil, the very best of luck with all of the Park Run races and the event this weekend. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, and best luck with everything with the Sexual Health Centre going forward.
Thank you very much.
We're about to go through a hit list of what's needed to address the needs of the asthma community in Ireland. Stay with me.
Health and fitness.
With DS Sports. Is your sports club ready for a Christmas kit upgrade? Contact DS Sports at 085 871 5311 or info@dssports.ie. DS Sports, the teamwear specialists. Your success, our priority. Let's grow together.
A new report into the treatment of severe asthma in Ireland is highlighting the complex challenges faced by patients and, of course, the healthcare system in this country. This report, released by the Asthma Society of Ireland this week, is just in advance of the general election in this country, and like many groups in the country, it is a really important time for them to underline what they believe should be the priorities for health provision around the issue of asthma going forward. Approximately just under 500,000 people in the country currently have asthma. It is a chronic respiratory disease that I think we've all been touched by in one shape or form or another in our lives. I'm very glad to welcome the CEO of Asthma Society of Ireland onto Health and Fitness this evening, Eilish Ní Chatnaoth. Thanks very much for taking our call, Eilish.
Thanks for having me.
This new report has highlighted a number of key issues and challenges faced by those who have asthma in Ireland. What is the Asthma Society of Ireland calling for off the back of this report?
Yeah, so the Asthma Society has done quite a bit of work this year. We've conducted this research where we have involved severe asthma patients. We've gone out through a survey and had focus groups to really garner and deepen our understanding of the experiences that severe asthma patients have in this country. And we've also gone out to the healthcare professionals who support them and deliver them healthcare in Ireland to understand the various perspectives. And we have sought from them their views on what the Asthma Society should be looking for in the next term of the Dáil. And we are really eager to see, in particular, a severe asthma registry in Ireland. So what does that mean? We don't have any means, a central national means of collecting data on severe asthma in Ireland, and that results in, obviously, limited ability to make really smart choices about where we're putting our investments in service delivery, planning and management and so on. So really it's a key issue for the state, for the healthcare services, and ultimately for health outcomes for severe asthma patients. But we just don't have sufficient data to make good decisions in Ireland.
Yeah, it's really striking, actually. If you look at the top line statistic that around 450,000 people in the country currently have asthma, the estimation is that between 3 and 10% of that patient population could have severe asthma. So if we take the very highest number there, 10%, that's just under 50,000 people, 45,000 people. Getting the data to know exactly the parameters of what you're dealing with in the first place is a crucial first step.
It absolutely is, and would help indeed research activity in the area too, so that we would end up with better health outcomes for patients, better treatments for patients. And people with severe asthma, it's a very particular disease and distinct disease from asthma more generally. And really the issue with severe asthma is that in order to control those symptoms that you'd be very familiar with asthma, right? So that the wheezing, the coughing, the shortness of breath, feeling like somebody is sitting on your chest and being unable to push the air out from your lungs. So quite frightening. And the only way really to keep that controlled with severe asthma is by giving very high dose controller inhalers, likely requiring a second controller, and sometimes ending up either on maintenance steroid tablets, so steroid tablets every day in order to control those symptoms, or really high-tech therapies. And sometimes even with all of those medications, you still might find that the symptoms are uncontrolled. So it's very debilitating. It can really impact people's day-to-day lives. And so we really need as much information as possible to be making really smart decisions about where we're putting our money to best support these people, so that their lives aren't as badly impacted as they currently are.
You mentioned that the data, if you were to have a registry, would enable those who are sanctioning investment in health to know where to target and that type of thing. But you also mentioned that ultimately severe asthma requires treatments and high-tech treatments at that. So the Asthma Society of Ireland is also calling for more investment in those treatments in the next lifespan of the government.
So biologic treatments are those high-tech treatments. They're appropriate for certain patients with severe asthma, not the full population. They are extremely expensive. They're only relatively newly developed. And if you look back 5 years or 6 years ago, there was only one on the market. The market has expanded now, which means there are different high-tech treatments, or biologic treatments they're referred to as, available for different types of severe asthma. So there's been some really good developments there. And actually, the previous Minister for Health has increased investment in biologics, but we're still not reaching enough people with those treatments. And ultimately, we know that by providing those treatments to all of those who would benefit, in fact, whose lives would be transformed by it, we know that results in lower healthcare utilisation, lower GP visit numbers, lower numbers of visits to the emergency department, and of course enhances patients' quality of life. So we really should be looking to increase the allocation of funding for biologic treatments for severe asthma patients, because it will be better for everybody in society ultimately.
Where are we with the provision of treatment for asthma in this country, and where are we with the level of awareness around the illness? Because, as I mentioned at the top of our conversation, it's kind of been a fixture in Irish society for a long time. Do you think it's actually not taken seriously enough on the basis that it is quite common and widespread? And as I said, many people, if they haven't gone through it themselves at an early age or through their adulthood, know somebody who has.
there is definitely sort of misconceptions about asthma that persist in Irish society. And I do agree with you. I think that is partially because we have one of the highest prevalence rates of asthma in the world. We're so used to hearing about it, and we're so used to meeting somebody with asthma and seeing them at a time, usually when they're out and about or they're in the workplace, when they're not struggling with their symptoms. And, you know, they appear to be fairly unaffected by the disease. And therefore, people, I think, can often underestimate asthma. And further to that then, as part of this research, the people with severe asthma that we've been hearing from and talking to have been saying that oftentimes actually when they say they have severe asthma, people assume that their symptoms are just a little bit worse than the general asthma population, while that really isn't true. So those people that we've been talking to with severe asthma are talking about 40% of them, for example, said that they struggle with even day-to-day tasks like household chores. Their 69% said that their ability to exercise is impacted by their severe asthma. And you can imagine if you can't get out on that evening walk, or you can't get to the gym because of your asthma, and you can't do that regularly, it's not only going to impact on your physical health, but ultimately on your mental health. And really that sort of maintenance of mental well-being is really important for chronic disease patients. And you're talking about people who are visiting the emergency department at least once a year. About 56% of them reported that they're going to the emergency department at least once a year, that they're visiting their GP at least 7 times in a year. Some of us may not have to go to the GP more than once or twice in a year for a viral infection perhaps, but these are people who are really dependent on the healthcare system to keep them well and are really struggling with their symptoms.
For people who are so reliant on the healthcare system, while the GP provides an invaluable service to the community and the emergency department, obviously a crucial resource for everybody in this country, specialist care is another thing that the Asthma Society of Ireland is underlining as something that needs to be invested upon and improved and resourced.
Yeah, so we would say, generally speaking, that once people with severe asthma are referred into specialist care and they're seen in specialist care, they really get excellent treatment, and that's been reported by the people we've spoken to. So, but the issue is getting there in the first instance. One of the people who were involved in our focus group reported she was 10 years between first presenting with her asthma symptoms and when she was finally diagnosed with severe asthma. So that's a really problematic situation. And in the interim, these people are very badly impacted with all of those various factors that I mentioned, and are having difficulty in really getting the attention and the care that they need to live their lives fully.
Eilish Ní Coitne, CEO of Asthma Society of Ireland. Thanks for taking the time to join us on Health and Fitness this evening, and the best of luck with everything regarding the group going forward.
Thank you.
We're done for another week on the show. Here's hoping our new government can make progress on some of the issues we discussed today. Joe Cooney is next with Country Roads. Take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.